It's that time of the week. Right, where do I even start? People forgetting how to queue and the price of a decent brew. Big G's here to put the world right. It's Big G's Rant of the Week.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to another Rant of the Week. Yes, this is... Oh, headphones. As I keep forgetting, I don't need them for this show. Yes, guys, welcome to another episode of Rant of the Week. Week 7. Can you believe we have done 7 weeks of this? 7 weeks. And we could get up to 10. Maybe we could get up to 10. I don't know. But fingers crossed we will. But anyway, welcome, guys. Let me tell you a little bit about the show. It's just a case of friends getting together once a week on a Tuesday evening, 8 till 9 o'clock each night. And again, sorry, big thank you to Stephen Sticks, who just done the show before me here on Reach On Air. So if you want to get send messages, and you can do that through the Reach On Air website. Yes, you can turn around and go on there and you can contact the DJ. We are also trying to break some records tonight. We are live streaming on Twitch, on Mixcloud, on Facebook, and YouTube. Yes, all live. Yes, thank you, Ivan. Lucky 7. So yeah, all it is, if you've never seen it before, we just get together, have a chat once a week, and we just go through what's going on in the world. We try and keep it light-hearted. Sometimes it's not so light-hearted. We have to have a look at things that might bother us. And as I say, the actual direction of the show is not set in stone either. It's not set in stone. We can turn around and we can change direction at any point. So if you are listening on Reach On Air, which is the radio station, and you want to watch it live streamed, if you go to Twitch or Mixcloud, if you have them apps, just look up Gary D1310 and you can live stream there. If you are on YouTube, look at www.youtube.com/@GarysLife72. So @GarysLife72. So that's all the ways. And if you're on my Facebook, you can probably see me. Hopefully you can see me, and you can see I haven't aged that bad, have I? Have I aged that bad since you last see me? Yes, also feel free to message in on any of them platforms. You are all more than welcome. And yes, so far in the Twitch chat room, we have, who do we have? Who's going to be on their best behaviours tonight? Jason Hughes, good evening, my friend. And then there's Roy, and there's Ivan. No, I can't. It's too early in the evening. You're not getting your full name. And if you're not quite sure where I'm going with that direction, his first name is Ivan. And yes, the last bit of it is Gov, of. Ivan something of. Yes, not good. So how's your week's been, guys? How has your week been? Mine's, since I last spoke to you, not much going on. I spoke to my nephew's wedding I was at, and I felt absolutely awful about the back trouble I'm having that didn't really allow me to enjoy it as much as I wanted to. And thankfully, he's forgiven me. He has forgiven me. I think he's forgiven me anyway. But yeah, I told him to watch a video where last week's show, and where he could turn around and have a watch of it. He got a sort of compliment, a sort of backhanded compliment. Would we call it a backhanded compliment? Yeah, I think so. If you can remember what I said about him last week, a backhanded compliment. But yeah, young Peter, he's not young anymore. He's getting old. He's in his 30s now. So yeah, so he's forgiven me for that. And then I managed to get down to the old karaoke on Friday. And what I found out, and I've told you this before, guys, I'm not going to lie, I've lost a bit of weight since Christmas, probably about 3 stone since Christmas. But mostly on my own, I'll be honest, mostly on my own. But because of health reasons and stuff, we need to try and lose the weight a little bit quicker, just that little bit quicker. So I've gone on the Ozempic pens. And what I have found is that when I'm on them, I can't really drink anymore. I can't drink anymore. I think, Roy, I was out with you for, what did I have? 4 or 5 pints? 4 or 5 pints? And that was it. That was it. So maybe that is the drawback of the Ozempic pens. So if you are thinking of doing that and you want to cut down drink, it's probably perfect, isn't it? It's probably the absolutely perfect thing to do to help you cut down with the booze, yes. Which it wasn't my intention, but it seemed to work out. And God, on my way out on Friday, oh, guys, did you all get the alarm go off on your phone? Did you get that? I thought we were under attack. I thought that's what that was for. Like, if you're under attack, this warning will go off. Now I've got my phone blasting off, my other half's phone blasting off. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Because obviously the government has to have a Cobra meeting and all things like that before they can set that thing off. And so you're looking at what's happened, we under attack, forest fires. Yes, they went on about forest fires. I live in in London, mate. There's not many forests going on where I live. There's not very many of them. But I'm saying for the rest of the country, yeah, because the poor old, if I've got this right, Midlands was on fire, wasn't it? It was on fire, let's be honest. There was a lot of the Midlands that was having the forest fires. So our new Prime Minister, Mr. Burnham, Mr. Andy Burnham's first major step was to try to ban disposable barbecues. Yes, disposable barbecues. Now, I think that's what he is aiming to do. And I'm saying allegedly on this show, I have to be very careful that I don't say anything that could find offensive. Because what we've got to remember, guys, everything that is said on this show is just our opinions. We are not necessarily stating facts. It's how we feel. So if you're out there listening, don't sit there with your notepad thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to, sue them for what they said. No, we're just normal people, run of the mill, just having a chat. The sort of thing you would do in a pub, or a few posh people, a bar. But yeah, the sort of thing, just sitting there chatting with mates and things like that. So yes, that's the sort of legal side of it, because it is a chat show. Let's be honest, it is a chat show. And as I said, you're more than welcome to message in. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you don't like chat rooms for some reason, hold on, I did write it down. I have just recently, in the last 24 hours, added a phone number, guys, which you can text in. WhatsApp or text, whichever works better for you. It's just standard rate. And even if it's just to say hi, guys, if you just want to say hi, you are more than welcome. And the phone number is 07343 079438. So it's 07343 07948. And as I said, your opinions are all valid here, guys. They're all valid. It's all about how we feel. So it's not just me, it's you. So yes, so we've had the forest fire alarm system that went off. I wonder how many people were rushed to hospital with heart attack for that. Yes, I don't think that was the best way to go with that, to be honest with you. The news, I think, would have been enough. I think you might have panicked quite a few people on that. And yes, for those who noticed, who might have been watching my show this morning on Reach On Air, where I covered Chris Reardon's show, and I had broken glasses. I had to go and get my glasses fixed. Well, when I say get them fixed, they said I needed 2 new frames. So I bought, you know what everyone does, you buy glasses, and they say you can get 2 for the price of 1. So I bought the 2 for the price of 1. And both of them broke. So I've gone down and go, look, the screws and everything's all broke. They reckon they could tell by my glasses that I used brute force on them. Brute force. How do you use brute force on glasses? I think one pair I did sit on, to be honest. I did sit on. But they're bifocal glasses, yes, bifocal. So I can see all the time out of them there. And I have noticed since I've had these bifocal glasses, I wear them all the time now. I used to hate wearing glasses, absolutely hate wearing them. Well, I won't wear them to the pub. To be fair, I do not wear them to the pub because of, by the time I finished, even if I had the glasses on, I wouldn't be able to see anyway. Some people know me better than others, but that is the case. But yes, I've gone down there and they've got, no, you have broke them. Brute force, and they was literally showing me, snapped them. I'd snapped both arms. All I did was put them on the side. You know that old saying, you do not know your own strength. You do not know your own strength. And obviously I don't. Obviously I don't. So they had to replace the frames. And I'll be honest, I don't. The lenses are expensive enough, and I'm not spending a fortune on the rims of the glasses, whatever. Still cost me £90 just to have the rims replaced. The rims for glasses, not rims for cars. But yeah. But anyway, so that was my start to my day this morning. So straight after the show, I've headed off down to the opticians because I went, there's no way I can do this show with glasses hanging off my face. It's bad enough doing a music show, but yes, beer goggles. Yes, we like beer goggles. 5 pint. Call me Bob the Geese. Call me Bob if it's easier. Okay, Ivan, you are now Bob. Bob the Knob. No, but I say that. 5 pints. Roy, you're saying, like, you're questioning if I had 5 pints. Or I can only remember drinking 5 pints. Yeah, 5 pints and I'm anybody's. I don't think it takes that much either. Or Bob, I am absolutely desperate for a drink. Yeah, you know, it's not even a drink anymore. It's not even a drink. This is how things are. It's a couple of cigarettes and a bag of crisps. You'd get me for that these days. You would get me for that these days. You know what they say, beggars can't be choosers. He's trying to find the mute button. JCU's beer goggles in pub. You meant pub. Beer goggles in pub. Yes. So that is the sort of standard of the chat in the chat room on here on the Twitch chat room. And as I said, guys, if you want to join that madness, you are absolutely more than welcome. But guys, we'll go on to a sort of serious note. Something that we done last week. And it was about Jason Hardy. Jason Hardy, who, you know, sadly, it seems, it's not been confirmed yet. Hasn't been confirmed yet. Took his own life. It seems to be that way. It's not confirmed, so we don't know 100% of what's gone on there. Now, there's a lot of blame going on. A lot of people are blaming certain things. Some I agree, some I don't agree with. Does Jason Hardy deserve some of the blame? And I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead. Well, he did what he did, allegedly. He did what he did. And so, again, I've scrolled through, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading here, guys, show you where we are at with this situation. So, this sort of question on this is, who failed him? Who failed him? For a man to take his own life, who failed him? So we'll get back to, you know, for people who might not know what we are talking about, we're talking about Jason Hardy, who's a 41-year-old, a professor of sociology of education at Cambridge University and one of the most prominent black academics in Britain. Okay? So his appointment has been celebrated as a landmark moment for diversity in higher education. All, as I say, all sounds great. All sounds great. Excuse me, cough time. Excuse me for that. But in the weeks before his death, Hardy became the subject of intense scrutiny and allegations concerning his academic record, his CV, and claims about his background and achievements. Right? So there was a lot of questions asked. And to be fair, and I'm going to hold my hands up to this, I found a majority of what he said, allegedly said, unless we read the book. If it's in the book, I found it funny. I found it funny that Cambridge University has read this, and you know, there was a point where I think he said he played for Crystal Palace at one point, allegedly. Was nearly a professional snooker player, allegedly. You know, we've also had the thing about the 30 marathons, 35 days, 600 miles in 6 days. We had all that, and I'm just like, we're talking about a top university that has let this slide, So, on August the 14th, he was found unresponsive at a property in Battersea, South London. Police said his death was unexpected and was not being treated as suspicious. So, we sort of know where that was pointing. Yeah. His place of work, I agree, Ivan, his place of work should have looked after him, duty of care. 100%, 100%. But if he's resigned, are they still responsible? My personal feeling is yes, they are. They should have looked after him better than what they did. Okay, there was allegedly, I would say, a definite problem there. A definite problem. But his death has now triggered a much bigger debate. Not simply about Jason Hardy himself, but the Cambridge, the media, the race, diversity, academic standards and responsibility of institutes that turn people into symbols. That this is the big problem. This, for me, was the big problem. They turned him into for want of a better word, a poster boy. So doing that really didn't help him. Really didn't help him. So, yes, as I'm saying, or Bob, whichever one you want to be called, aftercare. Yes. Aftercare should have been really what was done. But, as I said, it just seemed he just disappeared. So Jason Hardy had become a prominent figure in Cambridge. His appointment was significant because of his status as a black academic and because of what he represented for diversity within one of Britain's most prestigious universities. And I'm all for diversity. I'm all for it. I've got no problems with it whatsoever. So you're not one of them people that are ranting, oh, I don't like it. No. Diversity is important as long as it's done the right way. As long as it is done the right way. So, but questions were subsequently raised about his academic work and aspects of his professional biography. Well, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for someone to question it? Those questions included allegations concerning plagiarism and claims made about his career and achievements. Now, come on, guys. From what we have seen in the press over the last few weeks concerning this guy, who has read that? I can't get my head around. Who has read that and gone, oh, this is great? Unless there was an agenda for why they did that. So Hardy denied all the allegations. But unfortunately, allegedly again, sorry, that word, I'm going to just put that on a bleeding, repeat button, I think, allegedly. Liverpool's John Moore University has previously investigated plagiarism allegations concerning him and cleared him. So how deep was that plagiarism investigated? Was it investigated at all? I couldn't tell you. I think if I'm going by memory, they found 183 out of 1,000. That was very incredibly close to somebody else's work. And they said that the chances of that happening by chance was 1 in 100 billion. So then after that, Cambridge subsequently announced an independent investigation into the appointment and qualifications. So then after all of this, someone's come out with it and gone, yeah, they're now going to investigate it. And it sounds like we're just repeating what we were talking about last week. But I think it's important that, personally, I did the show about it last week. And I done it very lightheartedly, and it was a case of, I didn't want this guy to do what he done. And of course I didn't. But it was comical in a really strange way. It was just a comical in a very strange way. And I even said, who says they played for Palace? He would, you're a git. Would have believed he even said Accrington Stanley, who were they? Right. And JP, good evening to JP, who's joined us on the Reach on air thing. He says his action should be questioned. There should have been support for him too. Yes, JP, 100%, 100%. But the media piling in, some press outlets writing 42 pieces in 7 days, absolutely destroying him, were egged onto the social media pile-on. Noticeable now that a lot of commentators are deleting their attack pieces like there's no tomorrow. Yes, they are. They are. But that's why I thought if I'm going to do a show like this, I said things last week, and I'm not taking them back. I am not taking them back. I stand by what I said last week. But as I said, it's not a case of I wanted this to happen to this guy. 100% not. I'm gutted for his family. I'm absolutely gutted for his family. This guy, if all these allegations turned out to be true, then there is obviously a mental problem there. Obviously, I don't know what you would describe that mental problem as, but there was obviously something wrong. And people to ignore it, to promote him, I think they've got some questions to answer, guys. They have got some serious questions to answer. And as I said, everything I said last week, I stand by. I do stand by. But I'm sorry for his family. Very, very sorry for his family. And JB, Jason Hughes is agreeing with you exactly. The pile-on was a bit much. It was a bit much. And the only reason, I'll be honest with you, I even noticed about it was the memes that were going around on social media that turned around and made me go, what is going on here? There's a story here. There is a story here. And yeah, it turned out to be a big old story because I couldn't work out. I think we remembered last week, there was a picture of him winning the World Cup in '66 on the England player's shoulders in place of Bobby Moore. And I was just like, as this person thinking that Jason Arde himself had made that meme and he was just somebody being funny on social media. That's what I thought. And I was like literally going to follow him. It's like, oh, this is hilarious. But sadly, it wasn't the case. So it's a case of what did Cambridge know before it appointed Jason Arde and what checks were carried out? Because the question about his academic record was serious enough to investigate his appointment. So they've investigated it. And it is reasonable to ask whether they should have been investigated before he was appointed. Yeah. Yeah, and JB again, the alerts for the fires was a request of the fire brigade. Oh, was it really? Was it really? I didn't know that, mate. Thank you for correcting me on that. Yes, the fire alarms were requested by the fire brigade. And it did panic. It did panic. I was like, what's going on? While it may, yeah, it was something we was talking about earlier about the fire, the warning alarm going off on everybody's mobile phones. Yes, the rural areas, it's a tinderbox. We desperately, if you're not listening in the UK, but we are at the point now, especially in the south of England, Midlands downwards, desperate for some rain. We're on hosepipe bans, everything. The grass is all dead from what I can see. There's some fire crews been on scenes of fires for days at a time. These are volunteers, yes. So any of them are listening, keep up the great work, guys. It's not easy. Normally we see these wildfires abroad. I know we get them here, but not so much. And yeah, so keep up the good work and keep safe, guys. If any of you happen to be listening to this from the fire brigades throughout the country. So anyway, we go back to the Jason Arde, what checks were carried out, because the question is the academic record was serious enough to check. It's nothing to do with my wallet. It was my phone that went off. I don't have an alarm in my wallet. To ask whether they should have an investigating employee was appointed. And that would bring us to the issues of diversity. Good evening to Amber. Good to see you, my darling. Great. Thank you for joining us. This is a little bit different, Amber, to the old. This is the chair. So we're going to move quickly on from what we was talking about. So the race question, Jason Hardy was a prominent black academic. Personally, I couldn't care less what colour he is. Could not care less what colour he is. His appointment was a significant part because he was a black professor in Cambridge. His supporters have argued that the intensity to scrutiny he subsequently faced was influenced by racism and racial double standards. It's possible, I suppose. It's possible a certain number of people could have done it for that reason. Could have done it for that reason. Yeah, but then on the flip side of the coin, could the desire to find a black success story have created a blind spot whose people saw what they wanted to see in R.O.T.W CV rather than asking the difficult questions they would have asked of someone who didn't fit the diversity narrative? Now again, that is a very, very big possibility. As I say, this is a question, not an established fact. And yeah, no, Jason's going on about, we are talking about the Hardy story, not me buying around in a pub. So, yes. Yes, and Amber's listening while she's eating her dinner. And then there is another question that follows. If the identical CV and claims had belonged to a white candidate applying for the professorship at Cambridge, would the same level of scrutiny have been applied? Now, for me, it was, would they have looked more closely? Would they have looked closely because of the diversity? And as I'm saying, I'm not saying the diversity thing is a bad thing, but could this be a case of where they wanted a certain type of person that they've ignored things? It's possible. I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm definitely not accusing them of anything. It is just strange. Right, so if it wasn't a black guy, it was a white guy, would they have examined it more closely? Would questions have been raised earlier, or would exactly the same thing have happened? That's a question we can't answer. We could only have opinions on it, and as I say, we don't have a definite answer. But Cambridge recruitment and vetting process is now central to this story. Not a bear. Twink, Roy, twink. Right, so we got this that came under media scrutiny. Once again, the questions are asked about public, it expanded rapidly. It wasn't quite simply about academic work, no. German journalists began examining all aspects of the professional history, biography and claims about his achievements. Yes, they did. The level of interest became enormous, and that raised another question. Did illegitimate scrutiny become a media pylon? Now, JP, in a lot of respect, I do agree with you. He thinks it was a media pylon, and it was. Come on, let's be honest. It was. But for what reason? Was it because he was black? Or was it because he's a prominent Cambridge University professor? So, both things, I can't answer that. I can't. Maybe it's a bit of both. Yeah, there is important to say. They may have been legitimate questions for journalists to investigate. Yeah, so the journalists tried to investigate. Remember, they tried to get the journalists arrested for asking questions. So, but even when journalism is justified, that remains a question of proportionality. Yes, it does. How many stories were genuinely adding new information? Probably not a lot, especially the memes that were going around. But it got the story out there, didn't it? It got the story out there. Social media, people taking the mick, let's be honest, and it got the story out there. How many of the stories coverage was repeating the same allegations? Yes. And what point does investigating become public humiliation? Yes, the guy was completely humiliated. But he didn't seem to have any protection, this guy. He just didn't. Journalist Jack Grove was one of those investigators that the allegations. He said police contacted him following a complaint connected with the report. Yes, so again, as I said, trying to get him arrested. Police have subsequently apologised over aspects of the matter. He's a journalist. What's a journalist supposed to do? Yeah, and JP, again, the majority of articles in the press was from what's seen traditionally as right-wing press. You decide if it was genuine scrutiny or agenda driven. Yeah, JP, I'll take that point, mate. I do take that point on board. But I'm not, as I say, I don't think along them lines. I'm not right wing, I'm nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. And so I don't, people's colour, and I know it is a massive thing for people, for some people. I say, I never look at, well, that's wrong. You can't say you never look at a person's colour, because you do notice. Of course you notice. But do I personally judge them by it? No. I'm from central London, if people don't know, from central London, which is probably one of the most, I won't claim it as the most, but one of the most diverse cities in the world, I would definitely say. So growing up, and I'm from an Irish background, so growing up, I'm going to sound like one of them right wingers now. I had black friends. That's not what I mean. I grew up with, black people, Asian people, from North Asia, South Asia, from everywhere. And it never, ever really mattered to me. It never, ever did. So I would say, yes, JV, on some of them things I'd say you're right. But I wouldn't say it was everybody. I think a number are actually also a bit confused by Cambridge University, to be honest, and how far this has got. This is how far this has got. So that's another dimension to the story. How far were people prepared to go to challenge the journalist investigating R.O.T.W, and how far were journalists justified in pursuing him? Right. I think we just covered that. Yes, the journalist, if it wasn't a hidden agenda, has total right. That is his job. And if you're a prominent figure in a university, surely, and you've put yourself in the spotlight, let's be honest, he did. He went on television, he claimed to write books, so he's put himself in the spotlight. It's a bit like me, I'm nowhere near at that level, but I'm putting myself in front of a camera, speaking on the radio, streaming on Twitch, streaming on Mixcloud, streaming on YouTube. So I'm putting myself out there. So if someone asks me a question, I should really, as long as it's not offensive or rude to anyone, I should be able to answer it. So there we get to the sad part. On the 14th of August, Jason R.O.T.W was found unresponsive at his home in Battersea. He was only 41. Only 41, come on. Police said his death was unexpected but was not treated as suspicious. His death has subsequently been described by supporters and people close to him as occurring after an intense period of pressure, which he did. We're not going to lie, we did. And as I said, I hold my hands up and I still stand by my show, but I put a very light-hearted spin on it last week. And yeah. And for me, it was nothing to do. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't matter if you believe me or not, because if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. If you do believe me, you do believe me. I'm not going to try and convince you either way, but for me, his colour had nothing to do with it. It was the fact that someone told them stories and become a Cambridge University professor. That was what was in my head, and that's what I found funny. And obviously, it's turned into a tragedy. It has turned into a tragedy. So his family and supporters have blamed campaign recruitment, misinformation and harassment. A vigil followed his death. Yes, I heard the vigil was around 30,000 people. So he was popular in that way. So, yeah, the vigil, was held on the 17th of August, and around 30,000 people attended. Politicians, academics, campaigners and members of the public paid tribute to him. Speakers argued that R.O.T.W had been treated unfairly because he was black academic and accused sections of the media of conducting a campaign against him. Well, yeah, but as I said, it's difficult when you put yourself out there. It's difficult when you put yourself out there, and it's a bit like the cancel culture. It's a bit like cancel. Am I saying that right? Cancel culture. Evening to Flash. Good evening, mate. you know, if you're out there and you say something that's not really acceptable to the majority of the public, there is that cancel culture thing. And then there's the unfair cancel culture as well, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with cancel culture, I'll be honest with you. But I know it exists. It exists. So the video demonstrated how the story now become much bigger than the allegations about one professor. It become a debate about race, representative academic standards, journalism, and institutional responsibilities. Now, I think that is the most important thing, the institutional responsibilities. Yeah. And there's also been a fundraiser to go towards his family, you know, for the funeral and all that. And I think this is a hell of a lot of money. Hell of a lot of money. It's intended to support the family and funeral related costs. But they're trying to raise £250,000. 250,000. They've already raised 200,000. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that sits right with me, to be honest with you. I don't know. If someone more educated than me could say what that money is for. You know, the funeral costs, yeah. It's good that people do it. But what's 250,000 for? I don't know. Yeah, so the money was raised really, really fast. And fair play to them. They raised it. And no one was forced. It was their choice to donate the money. So, fair play to them. So then the question is, rather than do what he did, and as I say, I am being a bit like the devil's advocate tonight, the devil's advocate. Why didn't he sue him? Why didn't he sue him? And Flash is saying the cancel culture is rife. The Scott Mills sacking at BBC left a really bad taste in the mouth and still does. My dream was always to be a mainstream radio station, but now I think, why? Sorry for change. No, you don't ever apologise for changing subject, mate. Don't ever. Scott Mills, yeah, the cancel culture. And I think accusations from... I'm not saying this is Scott Mills because I don't know enough about his story. When accusations appear 20 years later, 25 years later, from something that someone done a bit stupidly, and I'm saying this is, I'm not talking about Scott Mills, because I would say 20, 25 years ago, I'd probably done stupid things. Things I regret. Possibly. Yeah. And, yeah, I'd think if they come back to haunt me now, yes, Ivan, no, he's 35 marathons in 30, no. You're a bad person, Ivan. You are a bad person. Right. If Jason Hardy believed the allegations made against him were false and damaging, why wasn't there a major libel action against the public concern? Why didn't Cambridge University step in and protect him? I'm not saying they didn't try. Again, I have to be very careful. Allegations and all this carry on. So why didn't they step in? But there is no established evidence that he had a multi-million-pound claim or what lawyers advised him that such a case would succeed. So there's no evidence that he even tried. A person could dispute allegations without bringing in libel case. Yes, he could have just disputed them. Why is RDA's advice that he had a viable legal claim against the publication reported the allegation? And if he was, why wasn't it pursued? If it wasn't, why not? They're the questions. This could tell us something about the legal strengths of the allegation, but at present, we don't have the answer. Yes, as I say, we don't have the answer. I am nowhere near knowing the full story on this. So, it's sort of cutting it down. So who failed Jason Hardy? Who do you think, guys, out there, who failed him? So did Cambridge fail him? Perhaps the first failure occurred because the media become involved. If questions exist about his qualification, academic work and professional history, why weren't they resolved before his appointment? That's a big question. That is a big question. Was Cambridge so keen to have a prominent black academic success story that it failed to apply the same level of scrutiny that would have been applied to another candidate? Is it possible? Is it possible? Or did Cambridge simply follow its normal procedures and make an appointment which subsequently turned out to require investigation. Yeah. So we're waiting on the independent investigation that will prove more answers, but it seems to get more and more questions than there are answers. So then Flash is saying he thinks it's the media. So did the media fail him? Journalists had questions. They had questions. They investigated him. They investigated them. But the story grew and grew until R.O.T.W himself became the story. Was that proportionate? In my opinion, probably not. Probably not. I think he was literally being lined up for the firing squad, but I'm not defending what he done. What he done? Was it taken too far? Probably. Right. Did the media industrials lose sight of the distinction between exposing legitimate wrongdoing and destroying someone's reputation? Yes. That's what I'm going down. Exposing legitimate wrongdoing. So they allegedly exposed legitimate wrongdoings, which could have been dealt with in a very, very different way. Very, very different way. But they absolutely, in the end, destroyed the guy's reputation. Destroyed him. And did journalists appreciate the potential consequences of the level of scrutiny being applied? Did the journalists care? Did the journalists care? I'm not a journalist, but as I said, I've done a show about it, and I was being light-hearted about it. Did I think it would lead to what happened? No, I didn't. 100% didn't. Am I sorry what's happened to him? Yes. Am I sorry I've done the show? No. No, I'm not. And I know people might not agree with me on that, but I think if you're out there in the public eye, and for me, we can't say he wasn't, because he put himself on the telly, he put himself on the radio, in magazines, things like that. So, not at the levels, I'm not talking levels of pop stars, actors, footballers, stuff like that, but he did put himself in the public eye, in my humble opinion. It could have been both that failed him. To Cambridge, by not checking properly, in my humble opinion, but allegedly I wasn't there, so I can't say that they didn't, but there is obviously a problem if they did check properly. If they did check properly, there has to be big questions about their process of checking. So, yeah, the media did go after the man rather than the story in the end, I think. But that's just, again, my humble opinion. So, I won't carry on with that. I think we'll leave that there for now, because the poor man, I think he needs, he needs to rest in peace. There's going to be loads and loads of questions. It might be something we come back to in the future to talk about. But as it stands at the moment, I think it's a shout between Cambridge University and the media. Both are to blame. Both to blame, in my opinion. But anyway, let's go and himself a bit. So for me, there's three there: him, the university, and the media. But we'll leave that there because we haven't got much time left, and I wasn't supposed to go on about Jason Hardy that long. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But right, what we wanted to talk about quickly, no, we've only got about 10 minutes, guys. 10, 12 minutes. The return of the Premier League, guys. The return of the Premier League this weekend is happening, and it starts on Friday. Arsenal will take on Coventry on Friday night, and we're back there. So what I wanted to look at is what's in the last 10 years. I don't know what team you support, guys. I'm a Liverpool fan. And Flash, I know, is a Man United fan. I'm not from Liverpool, Flash is not from Manchester. And we've spoken about this before. There is no harm in that. It's big clubs attract fans from all over the world, not just from the local area. So that's how they become big, big clubs. You know, I am sure there is Juventus fans who don't live where Juventus is, Real Madrid fans who don't live in Madrid, Barcelona fans don't live in Barcelona. Yeah. Oh, yes, that is a very good point. I think everybody's little or second team has become Wrexham, hasn't it? With the TV programmes and all that. Everyone keeps looking at them. I don't say you don't. You are looking at them. Right, so we're going to have a quick run because I've got to go through here. Spurs, Jason. Oh, you are lucky I slipped them into this. I was just going to do top 6, but I think Spurs needed to be part of the conversation. So in the last 10 years, Manchester City has won it 6 times. Liverpool have won it twice. Chelsea and Arsenal have won it once each. Okay? So City obviously has dominated the last 10 years. They got the 4 in a row, didn't they? Arsenal. Oh, it just gets worse. Spurs, Arsenal. Oof. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So, as I said, for me, the last couple of seasons, and remember, as a Liverpool fan, Liverpool won it the season before, I think the standard has dropped quite considerably in football. So I'm going to read you the points tally of the last 10 years. The last 10 years, okay? So in 2016-17, Chelsea won it with 93 points. 17-18, Man City, 100 points. 18-19, Man City, 98 points. Liverpool, the following year, 99 points. Man City, 86 points in 2021. In 21-22, Man City, 93 points. 21-22, Man City, 22-23, 89 points. Following year, Man City again, 91 points. And then it seems to drop. 24-25, Liverpool, 84 points. And Arsenal last season, 85. Ooh. So, yeah. So the average for winning the season, you need around 90 points. 90 points. And the last 2 seasons have been won on 84 and 85 points. So I don't think I've been proved wrong when I said the standard seems to have dropped. So anyway, so that was that. So Manchester City teams, in the best season, Liverpool, 2017-18, Man City won the league with 100 points, was it? No, sorry, I stand correct. 2018-19, City finished on 98 points and Liverpool on 97. So if you look at that, most seasons Liverpool would have won the league on that point score. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm just trying to squeeze through. But last week of the season, as I said, 84 points, 85, not the best. So the money behind the modern league day. Now look at the transfer market. We're going to have a quick look at the transfer market with Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa and Tottenham. So that's my top 7 for the season. So, in the last 10 years, Chelsea has spent 2.63 billion. City, 1.9 billion. United, 1.78 billion. Arsenal, 1.51 billion. Tottenham, 1.34 billion. And Liverpool, 1.3 billion. So Liverpool has won the league more times than Arsenal and Tottenham, with spending a lot less money. Yeah. About Leicester. But Leicester was just outside the last 10 years, mate. Sorry. They was just that. But that was an amazing achievement. Let's be honest, it was an amazing achievement. So, it's transfer expenditure and summer spending so far this season for this summer. Chelsea, 408 million. Tottenham, 267 million. Man City, 160 million. Arsenal, 150 million. Liverpool, 104. Villa, 85 million. Man City, 50 million. Yeah. And where's most of that money gone? Chelsea signed Morgan Rogers for 117 million. These are the biggest. I'm saying this money is obscene. So Chelsea, Morgan Rogers, 117 million. Man City, Elliot Anderson, Nottingham Forest, 116 million. Did I say City twice? No, Manchester City. Not bleeding. Tottenham have spent. Tottenham, let's just have a quick read of that. 100 million. No, yeah, what? Tottenham bought Sanderson only from Newcastle for 100 million. And 85 million from West Ham. Bruno Genet, Arsenal bought Bruno Ramirez, 75 million. Liverpool, Jeremy Jasquet. These are the top signings so far. 60 million. Villa, Jonas, 15. Joan Manzambi, nearly 60 million. Man United on Andrea Santos from Chelsea, approximately 50 million. So there's a big difference between 117 million. Oh, so there we go on to this. This is I am rushing through this, guys. I'm sorry, I forgot to rush through this. So what changed between last season and this season? Managers, guys. These top 7. Now, the manager at Chelsea, the start of last season was Enzo Maresca. It's now Xabi Alonso. Man City, Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola, that's Enzo Maresca. He just swapped from Chelsea to Man City. Yes, so Ruben Amorim was Manchester United. Now it's Michael Carrick. Arsenal kept the same manager, Mikel Arteta. Arne Slot was Liverpool's. Now it's Antonio Iraola. Aston Villa kept the same manager, Unai Emery. Tottenham's gone from Thomas Frank to Roberto de Zebra. I'm not even saying that right. Yeah, so 5 of the top 7 clubs, in my opinion, have gone on to change their managers. Don't bode well, guys, does it? It don't bode well. So let's have a little fun look at this. Let's have a quick look at this. Take care, Amber. See you soon, my darling. Right, the Community Shield, known as the Charity Shield, curse. Then there is the yes. Many people still call it the Charity Shield, but it's officially named the FA Community Shield. And winning it does not necessarily mean you are going to win the Premier League. Since the Premier League began in 1992, 8 of the 33 Community Shield winners have gone on to win the Premier League in the same season. Less than a quarter. The most recent was in 2018-19, which was Man City. In fact, before Arsenal's victory this year, only one of the previous 15 Community Shield winners have gone on to win the Premier League again. Man City, 2018. And now Arsenal have entered that equation. Yes, they beat Man City 3-0 on Sunday. Ooh, so Arsenal already have silverware before their title defence has even begun. Yes, if we're counting the Charity Shield as silverware, which Arteta does, let's be honest, he does. So, there's an even bigger piece of history for Arsenal to overcome. Only 3 clubs have successfully defended the Premier League title. Manchester United, Chelsea and Man City. United did it under Ferguson. Chelsea defended it in 2005-06 and City's gone on to win it. Yeah, they won it 4 times in a row, didn't they? City. So Arsenal attempted to become the 4th club in Premier League history to win the championship in consecutive seasons. Do we think that's going to happen? Ooh. Yes, I think, Jason, you're right. I think maybe by Christmas, Arsenal fans will be chanting Arteta out when the wheels fall off. Yes. So, let's have a look in numbers. 10 years in numbers. 10 complete seasons covered. 6 titles won by Man City. 2 titles won by Liverpool. 1 title won by Chelsea. 1 title won by Arsenal. 100 points Manchester City's record champions point total in 2017-18. 99 Liverpool got 99, so they didn't quite beat it in 19 and 20. Winning total lowest winning total 84 points was Liverpool. And Arsenal won it last year on 85. Average points total across the 10 seasons is 92. So you've got to be aiming for 90 at least, guys. 90 at least. 7 out of 10 champions who reached 90 points or more. Man City consecutive titles, 20-24, 21-24. Yeah, 4 in a row. 3 clubs have successfully defended the Premier League title since it started. Oh. And in this era, Community Shield winners in the Premier League era who have subsequently won the league title. It's 8 out of 33. It's not a lot. No, I don't think they will, Flash. I really don't. He's predicting Arsenal will retain the title. 5 out of 7 event of the season with different managers. Yes, 5 out of the 7 clubs, different managers. Oh, so what does this all mean? What does this all mean? The last decade has changed the Premier League. Arsenal back to... Was it 1930? Not in the Premiership though, mate. Not in the Premiership. We are talking Premiership. So, that was Ivan telling us that Arsenal won back-to-back in 1930. I think the rest of the world was at war at the time or something like that. It had become... it has become a competition where enormous spending is normal, where managers are under pressure almost immediately, and where even the richest clubs cannot guarantee success. Man City have set the standard, Liverpool have shown they can challenge it. Chelsea and Man United have spent heavily to try and return to the top. Tottenham and Aston Villa are investing to close the gap, and Arsenal now face the biggest challenge of all. They have finally won the Premier League. I think it was after 22 years, 20 years. They have won the Premiership, or the Community Shield. They have kept their manager, and they are trying to become only the 4th Premier League club to successfully defend the title. But history tells us that winning the title is one thing, defending it is something entirely. The first test comes this weekend. The hunters have become the hunted. Yes. Not looking promising for Arsenal fans, I've got to say. Got to say. Yes, Flash, Man United need to stick with a manager now. R.O.T.W wasn't the best at the beginning, neither was Klopp. So, but they stuck with them, and look at the success they have. So Arsenal, by winning the Charity Shield, it's not looking promising. Only 8 out of the last 33 have won the title after that. But anyway, guys, let me just quickly, I did write it down. Where did I write it down? Oh my God. My brain's all over the place. Yes. Straight after me tonight is the absolutely fantastic person. Love him to death. From 9 to 10 is Derek Martin's show. Straight after me, guys. And then he's followed by DJ Johnny from 10 to 11. DJ Di from 11 till 12. And then Alan Ross from midnight till 1 for his regular little slot. And yes, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for joining me again tonight, for me ranting on. And hopefully next week we will go back to a bit more light-hearted stuff. I was thinking about doing paranormal. Would anyone be interested in paranormal stuff? I don't know. I know I'm obsessed with it. But yeah. So a big, massive thank you for joining me tonight. And hopefully I will see you next week. And yes, there might be a week where we might only be online. I'm not sure how that's going to move forward. But I will let you know in advance. So don't worry. So guys, take care of yourselves. I will, and a few of you might meet up about 10 o'clock tonight in the other world I'm in. 10 o'clock tonight, and it'll be great to see you. So again, thank you so much. Fingers crossed I will see you all on here next week. Take care, guys. Yes, thank you guys on Twitch. You're still there. Yeah, what was we talking about? Who was one of a kind? But anyway, I've got to go and have some dinner now. I'm gonna be back here in an hour. I'll be back here in an hour. So guys, hopefully I will see you in the Twitch world and the Mixcloud world at 10 o'clock. And we will be playing music. Oh, Fergie. Yeah, he was. No Bob Paisley, but yeah, Fergie was good. I'll leave that there.